What makes this area so cool is it's been in my family since 1854, so it's very historical to our family at that point, and being able to grow old school apples on it, it just kind of brings it all together.
Can you tell us about Pux Cider and kind of how it all began?
Oh, so Pux Cider, it kind of started with my uncle bought this farm from one of our cousins, and we took it over, and he knew that my brother Andy and myself were into cider. Mark approached us and was like, hey, you want to grow some old school apples and try our hand at cider? And we were like, yeah, it sounds cool, you know, being part of the family farm. And that was about 13 years ago. It was when we first planted the trees behind us, not really knowing what to grow or much about traditional ciders. It's not really what you see in the American market. Cider here tends to be carbonated, sweeter, and more fruit-oriented. So we wanted to do more traditional, more apple-based cider using traditional apples. And that's kind of where we started our learning process.
We're here on the Pux farm today.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about kind of what makes this land so special to grow these apples on?
So this area is known as the Ridge, and it's the largest production area of apples in Michigan. It's very heavy clay, it's very high up, so the risk of frost is reduced. Being at a higher elevation, this is the apple region of Michigan. It's ideal for the grown fruit.
So I understand that you grow heirloom and also traditional cider apples. What, I guess, would be the difference between the apples that you grow here and maybe the apples that I would find at a grocery store?
Apples that you'd see in a store, you know, they tend to be produced to be the most perfect apple. Size, color, no imperfections, storage, shelf life. In cider apples, they tend to be ugly, will have tannins, which aren't really desirable in a dessert apple. Something, you know, that's sweet with acidity, that's not what you'll see at a store. Cider apples are very different. When you ferment them, what's left is a lot of personality, which you don't get from a lot of dessert apples.
Can you give us maybe the quick rundown of apple off the tree to cider into the glass? What happens in between there?
So basically what we're doing is we'll start picking apples end of July, and at that point there's a bunch of different techniques, like sometimes I'll leave them in storage to sweat them to get more sugar built up in the apple, but most times I'm just picking them, I'm pressing them, and then we take that juice and, you know, I'll treat it. If I want to do a wild ferment, I'll just let it ferment. If I want to do a standard ferment, I'll add pectinase, it'll drop all the solids out so it'll be clear. I'll add some sulfites to kill, you know, all the natural yeast in it, and then I'll add a standard yeast. And that'll give me the exact same result every time. And that's kind of what I do for all my mainstream ciders. 4 years into having our location and 10 years into being in distribution, we have found that our driest ciders are a lot of times our most popular ciders. And people come to our tap house in Grand Rapids just for wild ferments. You know, they want a Kingston Black single varietal, which is coveted by cider nerds because it's said to be the most well-rounded cider apple because it has, you know, the astringency, the tannins, and the flavor. And consumers know what that is, and that's something that is super cool.
What kind of maybe traditions or values do you feel like you've really carried on from your family that you carry on into Pux today?
You know, I think that an attention to detail and knowing apples, knowing how to grow them is a big part of the family. And, you know, I think that is something that is really passed on to me, just the passion for growing apples and doing something farm-based, you know, off the land and something from the farm. I feel very, very thankful to be able to carry on and do something different, switch gears from, just mainstream apple production to now we got a different product.
What does all your land kind of look like? You've got this farm, and then you said you've got a couple other farms.
Yeah, so it's all, it's when you see the trees that are all rows, very strict planting, that is what all the other farms are like. So it's all high density, just made to get the most light in, easiest to maintain, easiest to pick. I grow 150 different kinds of apples, a couple different Honeycrisps, Firestorm, Evercrisp, Premier, the original. These apples are hundreds of years old. So when you're having it, you're kind of getting something that somebody might have tasted hundreds of years ago. And I think that's super cool.
What is next for Pux Cider? You said maybe you guys are looking at some expansion.
We're doing a location on the farm where it'll be an outdoor serving area. You'll be able to come here and grab a cider and sit out and enjoy nature. And I think that'll be a really different approach compared to our Grand Rapids location, which is more, urban and art and music. And I think it'll be cool to come out here and, I kind of take it for granted because I'm always out here, but, it's a cool space to see.
Celebrating vibrant people.
Captivating places.
And remarkable things.
This is Living West Michigan.
I'm all about you.